Morning. I hope I can do justice to this. I saw this photograph laid on a canvas last Saturday week. I was doing a carpet job for a customer, and he took the photograph of this, and he's a professional photographer as well as making prosthetics for disabled people, for instance forces personnel who have missing limbs. So he does wonderful work there. That's at Roehampton, very famous hospital for this type of work. Now this is the Lake District. He comes from the Lake District, and it's Buttermere looking towards giant haystacks, and I've just roughed it out, so I'll show you the drawing in a moment. And the viewpoint is from Rannerdale Knotts, Knotts. Now Andrew Reece has asked me to mention his professional photography name. It's Andrew Reece, R-E-E-C-E, of Sharp Edge Photo. Andrew Reece of Sharp Edge Photo. So I hope if you like his work, then look him up online, www.andrewreece, and I'm sure you'll find his information. But this is a lovely photograph. I can only do a impression of it, but anyway, well, for a demonstration anyway. This would take quite a time to do in acrylic, so I'm going to just try to demonstrate it as an impression. Right, so the palette, as usual, is lemon yellow. Let's bring you round to it. Let's just open it up a bit. Angle my screen. I'm using a Canon camcorder. It's a lemon yellow, dirty lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, and burnt sienna. The paper is 15 inches by 11, Fabriano knot. It's not hot pressed, and it's 130 pound weight, and it's very good for wetting wet. So here we are. I'll wet the paper first of all. You can see I've put the details. Giant haystacks, very famous. Waintright, the great Waintright, who spent his life, or all his leisure time holidays, doing these northern footpaths, fells. Written a number of books, lots of BBC documentaries on him. He's buried on giant haystacks. He's probably the only one that is publicly known to have been buried there. He was a lovely man, produced wonderful painting, wonderful drawings of the Lake District that are in his books. So, rest in peace, Waintright. Right, okay, so the day was quite sunny, so I'll do a bit of I'll go over with some raw sienna first, just to warm the painting up. I might change the hake in a minute, because this one is one of those that splits. So there's the lake here. I've just indicated it. I've got the board at about 30 degrees, and I'll just use a bit of blue. I won't put any. I don't think I'll put any cloud. I might put a bit of light cloud in. I'll mix a bit of alizarin with the ultramarine, just to take the sting out of it, a bit like Reckitt's blue. Right, okay, so a bit darker than that. And I will put a bit of shadow in there. I'll just use a bit of alizarin. That's not going to show up as cloud, is it? a bit more of that blue, just a lighter blue in there. As you can see, the while the paper's wet like this, you can do other things. So I'm just going to take it down a bit more. I hope you can still see that okay. I don't want the water to flood down the page too much, as it is doing, but I'll just reclip it. Don't worry when the paper expands, there's no need to stretch your paper before you paint. Just reclip it as it expands. Right, okay. Now, I'm going to dry that off because it was quite a clear day, so there's no great merging of the mountains or hills in the sky. So hold on, just turn it on. I'll take the headphones off. Just want to take the shine off the paper. Okay, we'll start at the back. There's a bit of Payne's grey, I think, in with the paint Haystacks. So we'll just and a bit of green in there as well. Okay, I'll do. Now, quite a bit of light next to Haystacks, so a bit of sienna over there. Just okay. That. Then we've got this other mountain coming up here. So a bit of green, and a bit of umber, burnt umber. Let's just put that in there. Bit of blue. And a bit more blue in there. On the shadow side of this. Okay, and we'll get some yellow. In there, coming down to the lake. So all sort of slopes merging into one another there. Right, now I'll get this in here. So heavier mountain there. Maybe because it's in shadow, so we want quite thick paint there. So I'll use a bit of burnt sienna with the Payne's grey. Quite thick. Bit of blue in there because it's distant. Right. And that all the way across there. Right, now a bit of green now. Onto that. I can put a bit of detail on this a bit later on. Right, now we've got this other peak here, so we'll just put the darker bit of the shadow here. Bit of blue, a bit more blue. So now back into the green, the Payne's grey mixed with the yellow. Right, okay, that needs to come up a bit further up there. That peak there is just a little bit rounded more than I've got that there. Right, now I'll put in the darker. Vary the colours in this. We're coming into the darker tree-clad slopes here. And bring that colour down to the lake a bit more. Bit of sienna. Merged a bit. And that merged a little bit there. And then we've got the nice rich green of these trees, just paint them in as a flat shape really. Nice and dark in here, just mixing all the dark colours. Well, that's not very dark, is it? That's the sort of the edge of the shore coming here. Right. I'm going to leave that for a moment because I want to just dry brush over it when it is dry. But let's just get that shoreline more realistic. Yeah. Ah. Right, okay, now we'll go back onto this. We've got quite a nice slope there, a warmish colour, so a bit that sienna. Coming down. Nice bright yellow now. You need a cloth to take off the excess moisture when you're doing all this, so the sun's sort of catching. I'm going to bring that across there. Right, let's get this green in. This is just a general mishmash of slopes coming down here now. So I'll just put the underlying colour of yellow, and we've got a richer sort of nice richer colours, bit of umber in there. And these greens, the blue. Cloud shadow. Get some yellow back in there. Right, these are just the underlying washes here. So we'll have a bit of darker green, richer green. Okay, now I'll when that dries off a little bit, I'll put in the water. But I'll just get this in here. So just a few trees in the background here. Okay. Now we've got trees all along the waterfront there. So I want them quite dark. So I mix a dark green with burnt sienna, Payne's grey, a bit of a yellow, a bit of blue of course. All very delicate. And that one comes down there like a sort of hedgerow. I'm just going to do a bit of guesswork here. And the trees all the way around the edge, all very manicured. For those who are interested in the English countryside, read Bill Bryson's latest book. I've just finished it. It's More Notes on a Small Island, The Road to Little Gibbling, the Bryson Trail. Absolutely spellbound I was reading it. I love his work anyway. Bill Bryson, for American viewers, he comes from Iowa, but a British citizen as well. He's got dual nationality. He's done a lot of television work over here, travel programs with a lot of travel books, but very, very witty, very insightful, not always complimentary. But I finished the book today and I just had to take it back to the library where I bought it. So sorry, Bill, I didn't buy it, but not that he'll ever watch what I do, but you never know. I read his books. So they're just putting some fills in here. It's all very, very approximate. You can paint the sort of lie of the land, the shape of the landscape. I've probably gone up a little bit too high to suit the shape of the paper and the photograph. But it was a lovely, lovely photograph printed onto the canvas. Now, of course, this is going to take quite a bit of time, putting all this detail in that. But let's. I'm just going to dry that off because the water's pooled at the bottom. So let's put in this foreground of trees, bit of sienna with that, bit of Payne's grey. Right. Well, these trees are sort of on this slope. Same here. I'm not going to use my round sables on this. I'm going to just carry on with what we're doing. So these are all the trees in the foreground. These are trees, the hedgerows. Oops. Now, I don't know what the village is. There's a village in this. Oh, little footpaths and all sorts of stuff. It's the most walked over part of England, I think. Immortalised the work of William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a clown. Hope I'm right there. Right, okay, so just a bit of shadow in here. I'll put a bit of blue in that, a bit of light red. I'm just mixing all my colours. I'm not bothered going for accuracy. I'm just a bit of shadow there. In these hollows. And let's take that across there. There's a bit of guesswork here for the sake of brevity. Right, now that's nearly dry, so I'm just going to put some darker greens on there. Just lemon yellow and Payne's grey. So we just let some of the light shine through for the different shadow and light size of the trees. I can only do an impression of this. And darker here because it's in shadow here. Dark slope there and dark here. Hollows, trees, ridge here. I don't think I've got that quite accurate. Right, let's put some trees in here. We're using a Ron Ransom 2-inch hake for this, so it sort of paints where it hits. Alright, let's just bodge in some hedgerows. Okay. Not happy with that. Let's see if I can stretch the paper a bit. Try brush some nice warm green shadow over it. Still a little bit wet there. So I'll have a blue-green there, I think. I don't use any ready-made greens, not normally. There's yellow in there. That was a light slope there, but I can't alter it now. So, right, let's. Just going to clean that out there. I want that, so just a bit of blue in there. So a bit of tissue. Right, I'll give that a bit of a dry. Take your headphones off. So we've got like a darkish blue reflection along here, coming darker here as it comes into the shadow of that. So let's just clean my palette somewhat. It's a bit murky. Oh. Harry the kitten hasn't come up yet. The wife's out, so he's on his own downstairs. And right, I'm going to wet this again. When you do this, just make sure you don't scrub it, otherwise you'll just loosen too much of the paint. So a bit of blue, a bit of grey. And I'll put a bit more dark, a bit of grey, a bit more grey in there, just let it sort of bleed down into the rest of the water. Okay, see how that dries. Now I want to put in some more trees here, and then just use a bit of gouache and to pick out some of the buildings. So we want it fairly dark but warmish, so that'll do. So that would be a road here. So. Well, they look okay. So let's use a bit of that colour on here. Right. These are larger trees here, so we'll just get the perspective right. Well, I won't do much more than that to it. I'll just dry it off and I'll get the gouache so I can just Well, actually, let's make that a bit darker in the foreground here. If I was doing this in acrylic, it would take much longer, and I could get all the contrast right, because I could spend the time on it and do it in 3 parts or so. But this is really is a sketch, so if I want to work on an acrylic at a later date, I will. Right, okay. Dry. Headphones off again. Right, I've got some gouache on here. Let's just soften it a bit. Just put in some houses along around about. Showing some little bits of white and probably some little bits of red roofs. So let's ask. Andrew would probably tell me what the village is. Oh, this looks alright on the screen. So more white. You can always use a bit of acrylic. I really want it to show, but it's very hard to soften. Once it's dry, this chalk mixed with the watercolor pigment, it makes it opaque. Maybe a bit of red. Okay. Just want to put a bit of the few of the trees back on the edge of the water there. We just another bit across here. Just the impression of a lot of trees. Well, there are a lot of trees. Right, that's the best I can do. The mistakes really are, I missed out on the wash there. That's much yellower there, catching the sun. But I'll sign it and put in a couple of birds. And then we'll put it in the mount and have a look, see what it's like. The birds on my screen because of the splatters of paint. Okay, mount. The sun is shining on me. I'm just going to pull my curtain down a bit. Right, no creeping, so I'll put the mount on it. I'll put the blue mount on. Right, I'll right, let's have a look at that. Right, one thing I can see, that's a bit more rounded. There's some more trees sticking out into the lake there, so let's just put those in. Right, okay. That'll do. Right, let's go back to the photograph. I can find it. Oops. So there we are, Buttermere from, where is it? Rannerdale Knots, Great Gable. It's not very well, it's slightly more mountainous, or it's more of a peak, but I'm not going to change it now. But I think it's Albert Arthur Waintright anyway. AW, lovely man. Look up his stuff online. Wainwright's late. Wainwright's England. Wainwright, very famous, wonderful television programs. Let's go back to the view. Well, I'm looking at it on screen, and that bit does look a bit lighter than the rest, but it isn't. It should be more. It should be more that colour. But anyway, there we are. That's an impression of Buttermere from Rannerdale Knots, looking towards giant haystacks. Giant haystacks. This is a bit muddy, but there's a lot of green in this picture. I think if I have a go at it again, I'll make it more blue, give more depth to it. But anyway, see what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.